Hey, wida yo, wida yo, wida yo, hey to wida yo, to wida.
Hi, my name is Adrian Wall. I'm from Hamus Pueblo, and I'm a senior here at the Institute of American Indian Arts. And I'm standing here in front of my senior exhibit here, and it's called Music, Light, and Tribute. And what I'm working with is glass and steel. And so for this body of work, I feel like the process and learning is just as important as the content. I started my senior project in the fall when I became a senior here, and I'm a sculptor, so I immediately gravitated towards carving stone, and I started these large monumental sculptures. And I realized halfway, or at the end of the semester, that I wasn't really getting a lot from the process. It was something I'd done before and was really familiar with. And so I asked for permission to change my project. I wanted to do something that really represented my time here at IAIA and use some of the information and the technology that I was exposed to while I've been here. So I asked to do this project in glass. And so what you're seeing here is portraits of musicians who are important to me in a lot of ways because not only are they Native American musicians, but they're very excellent musicians. And I'm a musician myself, so I've always been inspired by good players. And so I chose this project also because it's in glass, and glass is something I've been really interested in for the last few years. And so the process actually was something that I had no idea how it worked, and I had quite a few failures, and had to kind of figure out and ask a lot of people how this could actually work. Because what I'm doing here is I'm taking sheets of glass. Actually, first I'm designing these images. I'm taking a photograph, and pulling it into Photoshop and Illustrator, redesigning the image so that it's a vector image and I can manipulate it a little bit. And then I'm taking that into the Fab Lab, which is an amazing facility here at IAIA. And in the Fab Lab, there is a water jet cutter. And what a water jet cutter does is it cuts really hard material in a way that it's almost humanly impossible to do by hand. So I'm taking these images, taking glass, and putting them on the water jet cutter and cutting out my images with glass. Anybody who's ever cut glass, you know that you can only make curved cuts or straight cuts with glass. You can't do anything this intricate. So I'm making a positive and negative out of glass, and then once I take that image, I'll come back and I'll fuse them together in a kiln so that they become one piece of glass. And then, the idea actually came from an artist named Deborah Coombs, who does she's a stained glass artist, and she does a lot of figurative work and portraits and things like that. But what she does is she takes the portrait and then connects them in the traditional stained glass method. But when she does a portrait, she uses enamels and does all the fine details so they have a portrait-like quality to them, like a painter-like quality. And I kind of wanted to do the same thing, but with mine I wanted to have photographic, photorealistic images. And I'm able to accomplish that by taking digital images and then cutting them out using the water jet cutter. And then coming back and using more of an artistic approach to the design elements, the embellishments, I should say, taking brush strokes and colors and enamels and powders to do all the kind of the fine details. Like you see here, it's all enamel work. And I do all the colorings and powders and I fuse them all together. I chose to use glass for this project because what I'm doing really is reminiscent of stained glass. For centuries, churches kind of use stained glass for propaganda. Basically, they would idolize their saints, and you would see them glowing through these big windows. It kind of gave them this higher ethereal status. And so I kind of wanted to do that with my images, especially Jimi Hendrix over. It's pretty saint-like to me. So it's been an interesting process. Like I said, I hadn't seen any work like this before. I had seen some artists who were taking glass water cut images and then putting them on vessels and blowing them. And I actually had to ask how they were doing that, because the process of cutting glass is very difficult. It's very brittle. If you put any pressure to clamp it down, it wants to break. So I had some help in learning how to clamp glass. So that was really cool. I'm very excited about this project. I hope to do more. And I don't know if I'll continue on with this same theme, but now that I kind of have an idea of how it all works, I'll continue. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks.
My man don't love me. Treats me oh so mean. He's the meanest man that I've ever seen. He wears hydrate pants. Stripes are really yellow. He wears hydrate pants. Stripes are really yellow. But when he starts to love me, he's so fine and mellow. Love will make you drink and gamble, make you stay out all night long. Make you drink and gamble, make you stay out all night long. Love will make you do things that you know is wrong.